Hello and welcome to the Official Watchers YouTube channel. Here at Jardin du Mayfair, heaven on earth for the watch enthusiast, I am delighted to be saying that I have the world's first Patek Philippe Aquanaut travel time. It's the 5164G in the new colour, which is blue opaline grey. Let's have a look and get into it. Guys, just a quick note before we get started, please do hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. Up to 70% of my viewers aren't subscribed. It would be really helpful if you could just click that button while you're watching the video, and now we'll get into it. The Aquanaut was first launched in 2011. The Patek Aquanaut Travel Time Reference 5164A was an absolute fan favourite. It was the Aquanaut Travel Time in stainless steel, and not only was it a fan favourite, it was also Thierry Stern's go-to piece for travelling and one of the longest serving sports watches in Patek's sports lineup, next to the Nautilus 5711. Now, if you watch these videos, you'll know I'm a huge fan of the Aquanaut. It is a favourite of mine. It always have been. And if you add that travel time complication, I am in heaven. So it's fairly safe to say that the launch of the travel time really elevated the Aquanaut range back in the day and lifted it from being just the Nautilus's younger and more accessible sibling to being high on the wanted list due to its own merits, which were nothing to do with the big brother, particularly since the Nautilus at the time did not have a model that incorporated a travel time feature. The 5164A was cool, good looking and useful, and all things considered a bit of a legend amongst Patek fans. It was seen on the wrists of many of the famous watch dudes, including John Mayer and Ellen DeGeneres. Imagine everyone's horror then when they refreshed the Patek site on the 1st of February 2024 to discover that the model had been discontinued. It was a disaster on a fairly grand scale. The Rose model was and still is in production, but there was no more steel. Salvation came, sort of, when at Watches and Wonders, April 2024, they debuted the incoming replacement, the Travel Time Reference 5164G001, and it is the new model that is here on my desk today. It is, I have to say, absolutely gorgeous and presented in the colour of the season, opaline blue grey, which is what Patek Philippe has named it, but it's more of an Air Force blue. It shares its colour scheme with the newly released Nautilus 5980-60G, which if you haven't seen, I posted on my Instagram last week. Stats-wise, it is the same as the original, with a 40.8mm diameter, a 46.5mm lug-to-lug, and 10.5mm thick, which is pretty spot-on size for most tastes. Due to it having the travel time feature, it's also pretty neatly symmetrical, because the travel time pushers are on the left side of the case, which balances out the crown guards on the right. It's very, very pleasing to look at. The lug width is 21mm, which is an odd size for regular strap changes, but really, given that the Aquanaut comes on its own composite, aka rubber integrated strap, it's matching blue and it has a twin trigger deployment clasp, there is no real reason to mess with perfection. Okay guys, it's my favourite part of the review and I am doing it early this week. I'm getting it out. I've got some brand new gloves as well. So let's have a look and see this beauty. Straight away, it's the weight that does it for me. I've always loved the weight of a white gold Aquanaut. I think it's so much more special than the steel. It just gives it that heft and it feels really expensive. So of course it goes without saying that this is a weightier piece than its steel predecessor, and it wears exactly the same as its rose gold counterpart, the 5164R. You can feel that it's gold, but it's just so well balanced that you don't notice the additional grams of precious metal. There is, as expected, a mix of brushed and polished surfaces to the case. Lug tops and bevels are polished, while the case sides and bezels are brushed. The bezel has the same vertical brushwork that's seen on both the Nautilus and the Aquanaut line, which has become a bit of a hallmark. It is exceptionally finely executed. There has been a movement change for the current models, and this one is running the in-house automatic caliber 26330, which offers dual time zone, date, local and home time, 29 joules and a 45-hour power reserve. The travel time feature is operated using the pushers at the side of the case, which are used to advance local time, that's the top, or roll back at the bottom, while the home time is all set by the crown. Home time is indicated by a cut-out hour hand, and when the travel function isn't in use, the local hand can be set to overlap and hide the home time so you can keep that dial nice and clean. I actually personally prefer it when it's out, but you can tuck it in there if you are that way inclined. There are also two dial cutouts, that's local and home time, which give day and night indications for both, so you don't run the risk of phoning home at 3 AM. Domestic bliss is covered. The date subdial is set using a pusher button, which is set into the case under the crown at the top of the right-hand lug. The dial is a rather lovely blue-grey tone, but it lacks the fume effect of the steel and rose travel times. Instead, it is a one-colour, semi-matte dial with the embossed Aquanaut hallmark geosphere design. It doesn't play with the light in the same way as the fume versions, but for me it's equally attractive because the colour choices work so well with the crisp white Arabics, luminescence and minute track. This watch would look just as at home with a pair of jeans and a casual shirt. It's just a completely contemporary watch which could go with almost anything. What I do not want to see, however, is that it's 30 meters water resistance on an Aquanaut. Why? Because for me, that makes it an Aquanaut. The newly discontinued steel travel time was rated to 120 meters, which is the standard for the range. It had the twin triggers, the push date, and essentially the exact same case structure. So, what's going on, Patek? Well, fear not, because according to a press release, what's going on is that Patek have made the executive decision to rewrite the widely understood codes of water resistance. They stated in a press release, to ensure the homogeneity and clarity of the information provided to clients, Patek Philippe has decided to introduce a new unified standard of water resistance. It's set at 30 meters for all watches certified as water resistant, having been tested in air and underwater by immersion at an overpressure of 3 bars, corresponding to depth of 30 meters. The press release goes on to say, this measure makes it possible to guarantee the same performance level across all the models concerned, and to provide perfectly comprehensible information as to the day-to-day activities in which clients can engage while wearing their watch. So, in short, the Aquanaut can go swimming as it is water resistant to an actual 30 meters rather than merely a splash-proof 30 meters, which is what 3 bar equates to for every other brand. Now, I'm not wanting to be negative, okay, because they're Patek Philippe. They can essentially do what they want, but it will confuse customers, I'm sure, and they'll probably be creating their own kind of problem because people are going to be unsure as to what they can actually do in these. It's an Aquanaut. The clue is in the title. You got to be able to swim in it, right? At the end of the day, I want to give the overview and make sure that I'm saying I am hugely positive about this piece. It's an absolute game changer. It's going straight on my grail list. The colours for me are perfect. And I'm probably being a bit too negative about their water resistance. I do genuinely believe this will bring a debate amongst the forum guys and girls as well. So do let me know in the comments what you think about their new rating system. Quick one, I got so excited I nearly forgot the meat and potatoes, which is £105,000. It's £105,000 and of course it's brand new. I'm just going to wrap this up and say this. I am so proud to have this watch here. I've already had the khaki denim strap on the 5980, and to have this here as well. It's only been 3 months since our Watches and Wonders video, guys. We saw this through 3 meters of glass, and now it's here in my hand. I'm going to be filming wrist rolls all afternoon. This is a seriously beautiful piece. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm so proud to have it here, and the watch is available. Jardin du Mayfair. I've been Oscar, signing off.